So welcome to Cloudberry. In today's hands-on session, we are diving into the core of networking in the cloud, the virtual private cloud or VPC. In this project, we are building a fully customized AWS VPC network. It's designed to securely host applications with both public-facing and private backend components. So let's break it down step by step. So first we will create a VPC with CIDR block 10.0.0/system. So it will give us a lot of IP addresses, around 65,000 IP addresses, so which can give us enough for scalability and subnetting. So inside that VPC, we will create two subnets, named public subnet and a private subnet. If you want more high availability and fault tolerance, you can use two different AZ, but in this lab I will just use only one AZ. And for public subnets, I will give a CIDR block called 10.0.1.0/24. And for the private subnet, I will give 10.0.2.0/24. So these are two different networks. And for the public subnet to get the internet access, I'll have to attach the NAT Gateway. And for the private subnet to get internet access, I will just give the NAT Gateway. So I have to create two gateway, Internet Gateway and the NAT Gateway. Internet Gateway is for the public subnet and NAT Gateway is for the private subnet. So after that, I have to ensure that the route tables are correctly configured, which means the public subnet traffic should go directly to the Internet by the Internet Gateway, and the private subnet traffic should go to the internet through the NAT Gateway. This is what we wanted. So this architecture is ideal for hosting apps when you need internet access for backend services, but you also want to isolate from the direct exposure. So you don't want to directly connect your private subnet with the outside organization, so you will need this type of design. Okay, so that's our project overview. So it's very simple and secure and scalable. So let's do it. So this is a brief project requisites for our project. So I will give the CIDR blocks for my subnets. For the public one, I will give 10.0.1.0/24. For the private subnet, I will give 10.0.2.0/24. For a VPC, I will give 10.0.0.0/system. So in case you might forget, so I will keep right here. And we also need to create an Internet Gateway for the VPC and NAT Gateway for the private subnet. That's all. These are the project prerequisites, and I hope you can do it. Let's do it right now. Welcome to the AWS Management Console. Here we will set up our infrastructure from scratch. Let's begin by accessing the VPC service right here. We are heading to the VPC dashboard to create our virtual private cloud. This is where we define our network architecture. Right here, we will choose VPC only and give the name of our VPC. In this case, I will just give VPC Lab Cloudberry and assign it a CIDR block of 10.0.0.0/system and create VPC. The VPC has been successfully created. Now let's move on to setting up subnets. Subnets are segments of our VPC. We'll create two. So let's choose the VPC of our lab, VPC Lab Cloudberry, and choose the name for the public subnet. In this case, I will give public subnet Cloudberry, and let's give the CIDR block 10.0.1.0/24 for the public subnet, and I will keep adding another subnet named private subnet Cloudberry, and I will give 10.0.2.0/24 and click create. Now, an internet gateway is required to provide internet connectivity to our public subnet. So let's create it. Just give the name for our internet gateway. In this case, I will give Cloudberry IGW and click create it. Now let's attach our internet gateway for the public subnet. So choose the VPC that we have created earlier and attached to our VPC. Now let's see what happened to our VPC by looking and viewing at the result map. So we have created two subnets, private and public, and they are associated to the route table. This is the default one. And we also have created the internet gateway named Cloudberry. We will create two route tables, one for the public subnet and one for the private subnet. So let's create the public one first. So public subnet route table. I will give Cloudberry public subnet route table for better view, and I will just choose the VPC and create route table, and I have to change and edit the routes. So add route and choose 0.0.0/0, and which means the destination is the internet. And if I want to access the internet, I have to choose the internet gateway. Yes, and save changes. Now the public subnet has destination and its target. This time I have to create a NAT gateways for the private subnet to get access the internet. So I will give Cloudberry NAT for the subnet name private subnet Cloudberry, and I will keep connectivity type as public, and I will allocate the LSD IP and create NAT gateway. Now let's go and create the route tables for the private subnet. Let's go back to route tables and let's create a new route table for the private one. Give the name Cloudberry private subnet route table, and the VPC should be VPC lab Cloudberry, and create one. And let's edit route, add route, and if I want to get access to the internet, for this case for the private subnet I have to choose the NAT gateway, not the internet gateway. NAT gateway, and choose the NAT gateway that we created. Save changes. In this case, let's go and see what happened to our VPC. In the result map, as you can see, private subnet is and public subnet they are state related and associated to the default default route tables. So we need to associate these two route tables to their associate subnet. So let's go to the route table and associate each route table to their subnet. Okay, so I have just associate the route tables with the public one, and let's go to public subnet route table action and edit subnet association, and click on private subnet and save association. So now let's go and check again to our VPC. Let's go to a result map. As you can see, public subnet Cloudberry is now associated to the route table named Cloudberry public subnet route table that is also connected to internet gateway. So private subnet, it's also connected to private subnet route table, and it's connected to Cloudberry NAT gateway. Now let's go and create the EC2 instance for the public subnet and the private subnet. Let's go and launch instance. and let's give the name. The first one is public server, and I will create a new key pair. And for the network settings, I have to choose the VPC, which means the VPC left Cloudberry, and Subnet is the public Subnet Cloudberry. And I have to choose the auto assign public IP. For the security group, I will just leave as a default and click create or launch instance. So this EC2 instance will be placed in the public subnet of our VPC. And let's go and create another instance named private server, launch instance, and private subnet, and click I will just use the Linux, and I'll create the key pair private, create key pair. As usual, we have to choose the VPC left Cloudberry, and this time I will just choose private subnet Cloudberry. We don't need a public IP because this instance is in the private subnet, so we don't need that. And let's go and create launch instance. So you have successfully set up a VPC with public and private subnets, where we have also configured route tables, added an NAT Gateway and NAT Gateway, and launched an EC2 instance. This setup provides a secure and scalable environment for your applications. I hope you like it, and thank you.